What's going on, everybody? My name is Tamar Turner, and I'm the host of the Down to Business podcast, where the mission is to really provide exposure to businesses, entrepreneurs, and artists all around the world in their respective crafts. And we do so through audio and visual interviews where we come on and we talk about all things from getting into the business to most memorable moments to even some advice that you may give for other business owners and entrepreneurs out there. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, we'd love to have you on for an interview. Please be sure to reach out via any social media platform and we'll definitely get back to you. But until then, enjoy this episode. What's going on, everybody? Just want to welcome you back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. And man, whenever, like I said, I'm going to give y'all the same energy every episode, everything that I do, just because I really just love it. I'm really just excited. It's one thing to, be able to connect and network with people who you know, but it's another thing when you're able to really just sit down with almost a complete stranger, somebody who you really met through an app. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. We were actually able to connect on Clubhouse. So y'all probably haven't heard me give a Clubhouse shout out in a little bit, but definitely haven't forgot about the app. Definitely still been keeping in contact with a lot of the people who I was able to connect with. And like I said, been able to make genuine connections, really been following these people. They've been showing love. I've been showing love back. And so I'm definitely excited to be sitting down with my boy Devin. I've been following him not only from my personal page, but podcast page. And he really just from the music to the content, he gives it to you. It's really just a vibe. I'm always showing love. He's always tapping in with me. And so we recently just tapped in with each other this past week and we were like, bro, let's do it. He said, just let me know when. So now we're here. So definitely excited for him to, give him a little taste of why he came on the podcast today. So Devin, how you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. Doing really well. How are you?
I can never complain, bro. Like I said, whenever I get to sit down with somebody, I'm always excited. So we on IG Live right now. We got people tapping in through the audio. So for my followers, for your followers, for people in between, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and then what brings you on the podcast today?
Yeah, so my name is Devin. At Devin408. I am the owner of Dreams Make You Rich and a music artist as well. Been doing this for about 7 years now. And recently just started a business, got the LLC, all that. And just kind of been going hard with it and just kind of, building my brand and trying to network. I really appreciate you having me on today.
Absolutely, bro. And so I love, when I can bring on entrepreneurs in a sense, people who dibble and dabble in a little bit of everything, people who, going to give you a taste of one side of business, but people who, also are involved in multiple things. So you said that not only are you a musical artist, but you also are, the CEO of a brand. So can you just tell us a little bit about which one came first and then kind of how you merged the two?
So yeah, it started off with the music. Honestly, I've just been making music ever since I got out of high school, maybe like 16, 17. And then from there, I was just making music, just kind of, just whatever I was just kind of learning and things like that. And kind of wasn't really making like, the music that I wanted to make or just something that resonated with me. I was just kind of, just trying it out or whatever. And then once I started getting serious with it, I understood my message and, what I wanted to bring across. And that's kind of how the brand came about, just kind of like spreading positivity and, just letting other people know that they could believe in themselves and, do whatever they want to do. So yeah, that's what the whole like brand starts with. Kind of, it's called Dreams Make You Rich. So like, I just believe that anything you put your mind to or anything you could think of or anything like that, you can make it happen. Like no matter who you are or no matter where you come from.
That's powerful. Absolutely. Just the fact that there's so many different connotations when it comes to dreams. Just, how people feel about them, how sometimes people can shoot down your dreams. Sometimes people could, not have the same dreams as you. So, when you're communicating that to someone else, it can scare them. Or in a sense, it can not be motivation for them. So just in hearing that, like you said, you were kind of just on a path where you were making music. But you would say that it wasn't really what you wanted to do. It wasn't really, you kind of just, like I said, just putting stuff out there, just bang, 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 but not really, you still had that passion for it. So was there like a defining moment? Was there a turning point where you really said, yo, like, I need to kind of switch this up. This is really what I want to do. And then from there, how did that kind of elevate you? Because like I said, that statement is powerful. So to me, I really need to know like the origin behind it. Like, was it a moment where you were just like, this is it?
I think it kind of all like it got a little bit more like serious for me when I had my daughter. And once I had my daughter, I just kind of like, thought I was just like, I've been doing this music or whatever. I'm like, working jobs here and there or whatever, like things like that. But, I never really had any real passion for, working for anybody else or anything like that. So I would just kind of like, I got to make this happen no matter what. Because now it's not just, it's not just me, like it's like a bigger picture. So I feel like definitely when she was born, that's when I kind of just started just going crazy with it and built the brand.
It's interesting you say that just because in my last episode, 51, a preventative measure, we talked about pretty much his product and how a lot of the motivation behind his product was his son, and so it's just like it's very interesting when it's just like kids serve as, I don't have any children, I'm 24, but kids serve as a different type of motivation. I think about my little brother, I think about my younger nieces and nephews. I feel like you just move differently when it's bigger than you at this point. This is not just about me. This is my passion, this is what I love, this is what I want to do. But I have a daughter now. I have somebody who's looking up to me. I have somebody who, I want to set the best example possible for. I have somebody who I want to grow up and not have to worry about a thing, not have to have the same worries that I did, some of the same struggles and different things that I did. So it's definitely a different type of motivation. I'm glad that you really, buckled down and really had that passion. So in doing this, in the years that you have and kind of just taking on a brand, but still wanting to produce music, still wanting to give people the best content. How has it been really keeping that balance between wanting to elevate your brand, but at the same time, still putting out quality music, still enjoying yourself, still really seeing, this is my passion, this is what I want to do?
It's been pretty smooth for the most part. I mean, I'm just kind of starting out with the brand. It started really like in 2018, 2019. So like since then, I've just kind of been, making like clothing, things like that, looking out like for like other people that I can network with and, just bring on to the team. It's not only myself, it's my brother who's a photographer as well. My partner, Matthew, he's a like really well-rounded business minded person. It's not just only me, so it's kind of like just slowly building the team and getting like just a bunch of work in.
And when somebody just dropped on the IG live too, J. Cole with no dreads, and he kind of just actually led me into my next question. So something that I was wondering is just like, look, we even kind of talked about earlier in the interview how you just weren't really making the music that you wanted to make, and I definitely agree with him. Definitely, you give some bars, bro, you get some substance. So if somebody asked you to, really you sitting in front of people who've never heard you before, people who just love music, people who are very interested in just sound, lyrics, beats, everything like that, they kind of ask you to describe your style, what kind of music you put out there for people, what would you really say?
I would say like chill, like feel good music. Really my biggest thing is just kind of invoking that emotion in people, no matter what type of music it is, no matter what I'm like saying, just kind of like however I'm feeling at the moment, or like when I'm in that space. That's kind of just how I want to give out to people so they can feel the same way.
I love that. Absolutely, just a vibe. And like I said, if look, everybody out there, if you listening to this interview, you never listened to my boy Devin 408. You gotta follow him. You gotta vibe out with him. Check out the YouTube. Check out everything from the content to the videos to just the substance behind it. It's one thing, I definitely will admit I love to get in my car and the speaker knocker music just to bang some stuff out. But sometimes, you just need to hear something, especially when you can put a combination of both of those together. But Devin is definitely giving that substance, and I love it. Just it's deep. It's definitely a message for sure, bro. So yeah, just keep it going. Yeah, it spits fire from the heart. Absolutely, and that's at that point, you're not even really it's not even really a job. Like it's really just a passion. When it's coming from you, when it's coming from inside, when you're realizing, yo, this is what I want to do, this is what I love, and then other people kind of giving that same resonation. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So something that I love to kind of talk about with people on here, something that is kind of just a pride thing for me, just in coming on the Down to Business podcast, is really just adversity. Really just times, where you almost wanted to give up, where it was a lot going on, where sometimes you wake up and it's just hard days. Because I will admit, as a podcast host, as just a human being, you have days where it's just not it. Having bad days, you're just going through stuff. So what is some adversity that you face, whether it just be with life, whether it just be with, having a daughter, whether it be with your passion and the dreams make you rich, that you really just had to overcome to really, promote yourself and take that step to the next level?
I feel like there was a point in time where I kind of, I wanted to do too much. At one point in time, I was kind of like, I was like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this, A, B, and C. And I never really like had a solid plan during those times. So, taking a whole bunch of stuff on and things like that during those times, it stressed me out, you know what I mean? To where like I would have like, I have to 2-3 shows in a week or whatever, and then like still have to, make money and things like that, and take care of my daughter, of course. It just kind of got to a lot, and I feel like during that time I had like a lot of anxiety. That's still something I deal with. I know like a lot of people do, and that's something that is really kind of frowned upon in just like our community and just things like that, like mental health. And not a lot of people talk about it, but it's for surely a real thing. So definitely, I just kind of like had to seek the help and look outward for other ventures and stuff like that. So kind of just started like meditating and things like that, trying to watch my health as much as possible. And a big thing is just kind of like scheduling. Scheduling is very very important because it's kind of doing like random stuff at different times, and I kind of really had no direction, so I had to find that balance.
It's so important that you give that answer. It's important that you give that for two reasons. One, just because of the prevalence of mental health, more so in thinking about more recently Naomi Osaka. And so the first point that I think about is really just, how people sometimes look at, superstars, these athletes, these rap artists, these high profile people just in a different light and not realizing at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all wake up, we all walk the same, we all breathe the same, bleed the same, and different things like that. And we go through real life issues that sometimes just because they're in the spotlight all the time, or they're seen and portrayed as just these tough, these characters, just these resilient folks, that they don't break down, they don't go through things behind closed doors when the cameras aren't on them, when they just talking to family. And I think that that's so important to realize that just some of the backlash and the feedback that I was seeing that Naomi got, it was just like, wow, it's hurtful. Like, not as somebody who doesn't like, as somebody who is very in tune with their mental and all about protecting it and definitely need to take steps to do more, that hurt me just to see that, wow, people are really like bashing her for wanting to, take care of herself, for not wanting to talk to these people, for not wanting to, for wanting to focus on her. That just hit me differently. But then two, it's important that you say that as a man. It's just like we're known to just be macho, just be these folks who just don't talk, who don't really express our emotions enough, or when we do, we don't always communicate it the best. So the fact that we can be in tune with ourselves and recognize that, look, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. I'm not always going to have it all figured out. Everything is not always going to go the way that I need to go. Sometimes I just need to take a step back and say, yo, relax. I have to tell myself the same thing. Tomorrow, breathe. Don't be so hard on yourself. You are your worst critic. But the moment I really started to look at just the little things that I was doing and accomplishing, and look at life from a different prey, just look at my eating habits, look at my sleeping, everything started to change. So it's definitely important with anything that you do, business owner, entrepreneur, artist, even if you're just a 9 to 5 person, even if you're somebody, just on your own doing whatever, you have to protect your mental. You have to just make sure that you're okay first and foremost. Nothing else will function after that. So I think I love that answer, bro. And I love the fact that you knew the adjustments that you had to make. You made them accordingly, and then you adjusted from there. So in thinking about, you as an artist, you as an owner of a brand, what really, I wouldn't even say really thinking long term, but what are some goals that you really have that you want to knock out from the music side of things, but that you also want to knock out on the brand side of things, and that people should be looking forward to you from you?
My biggest thing really with music, really like I said in one of like my recent songs, Blessing, is just like really I'm just trying to raise my daughter and live comfortable. And like that's really about it, like a lot of things going out like on the inside or like the outside of like social media and things like that. People have to have all these accolades and fancy stuff and stuff like that. And really that's not me at all. Like I'm just trying to, do enough to support my family and, change people's lives. And if I could do that with my music, I'm blessed, you know what I mean? And as far as like the brand, I just kind of want to, touch more people and get my clothing out to like, the other side of the world and just kind of have people, wearing my stuff and also understanding the meaning of it and living by that.
I loved it. Every bit of that from start to finish. And it kind of almost makes me think too, like you said, you want to be, well, not only do you keep that humble mindset, but you really just want to impact. And I love that anybody who can just recognize that I want to spread love. I want to spread a message to people, do other things. That's so important for me. And I love every bit of that. So something that you also said too, kind of at the end of that answer, was about you want people to wear your stuff worldwide, global, different things like that, but not just wear it, know the meaning and the message behind it. So for somebody who, might be scrolling through your website, for somebody who might be going through your page or see the content, for somebody who might even see something else, like, yo, that's hot. I like that. What is that? Let me wear that. For somebody who, wants to purchase it, wants to, rock the clothing and everything like that, what do you feel like is important for them to know about the brand? Because yeah, it's one thing to throw a brand on, it's one thing to put some stuff on, but it's another thing when it has a message behind it. So what do you really feel like for people who rep your brand, for people who want to rep your brand, that they really need to know about it, like the deeper meaning behind it?
I just want like people to, like feeling powerful, like to be empowered and kind of like when you go to the store and you get a fresh new pair of Nikes or whatever, and you walk out, you just feel like that guy. Just like just not only like focus on like the meaning and the brand, but just quality product and something that people could feel like comfortable in, and, feel more like themselves. But I feel like the meaning, if they understand the meaning, then it's all good. You know what I mean?
I got you. I like that. And I think that it's important too, especially with how we just how society can shape things now, just how we look at all this designer and all these things that are sometimes people just wear things for the strength of like their favorite athlete is wearing it, their favorite artist is wearing it, but you don't really know what the business is, what the company is, how they really feel, what ideals and what things that they support, what do they, donate to, and what everything like that. And so I feel like that's important, especially in this day and age that we're in with so many people pushing products, pushing brands, pushing businesses, pushing just things that are really unique and kind of being overlooked or not given that same light and stuff that they deserve. So I love that. So just for the people, kind of tapped in with the IG live, just for the people listening to the audio as well, what are some products out there from Dreams Make You Rich? Some of your favorites, just some things that you have out already, and even some things that people could look forward to.
This right here is actually one of my products. It says San Jose Forever, kind of is where I'm from. So I definitely wanted to highlight, the city. When I released the product, it kind of went crazy. A lot of people were just kind of tapping in, just kind of like, oh, what's that? What's that? I like the message and things like that. And it says like peace, love, and grind right here on the sleeves. So just kind of like having those little positive messages on the clothing and things like that is definitely a big thing for me. And then also we just kind of been working on a bunch of new product lately. Before we were kind of releasing like product by product, but I feel like now we're kind of focusing more towards like collections and things like that. So not only having tees and hoodies and beanies, stuff like that, all kind of coming. We're just kind of working on that slowly and getting it all right, figuring out what colors that we need and things like that. But we have a lot coming this year for sure.
All right, y'all heard him. We halfway through the year, so make sure y'all definitely on the lookout for it. I know for the people on the IG Live, I'm looking at the hoodie. I like it. I'm not even from Cali, and I can definitely dig it. So for the people out there, definitely, continue to tap in. So you spoke a little earlier about your brother who serves on your team kind of as a photographer, and then you also spoke about a good friend of yours who is also kind of like he just has that business mindset, just that, let's get to it. So what is it really like, building yourself up, but also building a brand up, not only from scratch, but working with other people and really just implementing other ideas? Because I know you guys bounce stuff off of each other. I know you guys do different things, have different ideas, have different crowds that you hit and everything like that. So what has that experience really been like, just being able to work with not only your brother, but a good friend of yours to really just build this from the ground up?
It's been pretty smooth. I feel like definitely having them beside me to like go through things and figure things out has been really helpful. Not only on like just the business side, but just like on the mental side. Because when you're just one person, it's all on you, and you gotta figure everything out. You gotta X, Y, and Z. So kind of just having them and just having their opinion for sure on things and helping out with designs and things like that has definitely took some pressure off of me, and definitely want to thank them for that for sure.
Absolutely. It's one thing to, just be able to bring people in, but it's another thing when they're family. So that's definitely a big kudos, a big shout out to those fellas as well. So as somebody who has not been to California, it's definitely on my bucket list this year. I'm not letting 2021 in without touching down on the West Coast. What has that vibe really been like out there for you? Has California even served as any motivation? I see the San Jose Forever, so I know that it has. So what really has California done to you as far as like your outlook on life and just things that you want to do and accomplish moving forward?
I feel like just living in California and just being here like my whole life basically. I feel like it's just given me a lot more opportunity. Just to be in the area that I live in for sure. Being from San Jose, it's a very very big like tech industry. So like a lot of stuff we kind of get like a little bit of insight before things come out. Like products and apps and technology and stuff like that. So just kind of having to jump on that, it's definitely helped me out. Just kind of just like stuff that we have access to, I would say, as far as like classes and things like that. You may not get that in other places, so I'm definitely thankful for that.
Okay. I feel like honestly, just being on the West Coast all my life, born in New York, raised in Philadelphia, that it's a different vibe over there in the West Coast. Just, I mean, the time change is one thing, but I feel like it's just they live different over there. Like, and to the point of I knew some people that kind of came over here, they didn't even know what snow was at first. That was just interesting to me. So it's just I feel like that's why I said I just got to get over it. I feel like it's just a different culture, a different vibe, and you even kind of just put me on some game today because I didn't even know that. But a lot of my boys who I went to grad school with, even went to undergrad with, kind of have been out there, live out there, and it's just a good experience. So like I said, mark my words, before this year is over, I'm definitely touching down Cali for sure. So for like I said, we have some people kind of tapping in from all over. Some who may know you, some who may know me, some really may just be brand new. So if somebody is kind of just tapping in for the first time, really don't know, too much about you, too much about what you do, what's something that you feel like we haven't touched on today that you feel like they should know about you that they don't?
And I'm really like just like kind of an open person. I'm really down for a lot of stuff, and I'm just here like just to tap in with. I'm always like just showing love to other people and trying to support as many people as I can. I know just as much as they do me. So if you're just like watching this or you just hear this or whatever, so feel free to tap in. I'm always down to work. I'm always down to network and things like that.
We really share a lot of the same sentiment. I think that's why it was detrimental that we connected. I'm definitely glad that we were able to knock this out and even knock it out on IG too. So like a 2-for-1 type thing. So kind of just to get a little personal, not kind of too personal, but something that we spoke about was just the motivation that kids have, just the impact that children have in our lives, children having just what we do, our motivations, our decisions behind things. So as your daughter, gets older, as she really starts to become more aware of what you're doing, of what you're promoting, of what you have really been offering to the people and the impact that you really want to continue to have. What is something that you really kind of want to teach her, whether it be an outlook on life, whether it be about kind of what you did and why you did it? But what is a principle that you really want to, or principles that you really want to instill in her to make sure that, not to say that she follows in your footsteps, but to make sure that she lives her life truly to the fullest?
Biggest thing really is just to do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Do whatever you want in life because there's nothing that can stop you. You know what I mean? A lot of the times there's like there's that voice in the back of your head. You got the angel and the demon or whatever. Like to understand. But if the biggest thing I want her to understand is just like just go hard and do whatever you want. And most importantly, don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something because we've seen time and time again that no matter like who you are or how old you are, or whatever the case is, like you can make it happen. So just to live yourself, being yourself.
Truly, truly, truly. And I think that this interview is just so timely because that's really that a conversation I had with my little brother earlier. We were talking about, he was kind of just talking about he might not want to have a job for the summer. He might just want to chill, just focus on some other things. And I was really telling him, look, bro, do what you want to do. I understand you get, in my opinion, that you want to, and I respect that. And I definitely told him how I truly felt. But I also said at the end of the day, no matter what I say, no matter what Pop says, Grandma and Grandpa say, friends say, it's about what it's about how your heart is feeling and everything like that. So I said, ultimately do what you want to do. And I really think that that's such an important outlook, not only for just the times we're living in today, but just in general. Just go. Don't really work. Don't run your own race. Don't really worry about what other people have going on. Don't worry about whatever other people are doing. Nobody's living your life like you can. So I definitely think that that's crucial and a great message to spread. So I'm excited to see that. So just before we wrap things up a little bit, I know some people are tapping in with us on IG Live. I know some people are tapping in with us on the audio. For everybody out there, just so that they can get on the same page and just so that they can tap in with you and work for sure, for sure. Can you just tell everybody where they can find you on social media if they wanted to tap in?
You can find me at Devien408. That's Devien 408. That's on every social network: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. If people still use that, it's on there wherever. But yeah, you can just tap in with me at all times. You can follow the brand at Dreams Make You Rich. DRMS Make You Rich. Yeah, just tap in.
Right. Y'all heard it. Definitely. Definitely. And just me going through the page and the content, like I said, from the music side of things, I love it. From the product side of things, I love it. But now we even got some more insight today. There's a lot more to come. So definitely keep tapping in with that. So before we officially close out for everybody listening out there, Devin, is there anything that you feel like we haven't touched on? Is there anything you feel like that the people out there should know about you that they don't already?
I think I touched on a lot. I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. I really like love what you're doing with the podcast and really like highlighting like just not only like black entrepreneurs but like all minorities. I feel like that's a really big thing in the times that we're living in right now because you can see like the world is crazy. So I definitely appreciate you for having me on and having other people on. just giving them like the platform to show their business and things like that.
Pleasure is always mine, bro. I definitely do. I always appreciate when people come on here and make the vision a reality. Like I say, y'all are really the reason why I do this. For the listeners out there, for the supporters out there, even the interviewees out there. So as much as you appreciate what I'm doing and you thank me, I thank you, and I humbly extend that same message back to you, bro. Definitely glad that we were able to connect, even being 3 hours apart, even being basically coast apart. I'm glad that I'm excited for not only the IG live snippet of things, but I'm excited for how this audio turns out as well. Definitely wishing you the best. Obviously, always extending my hand and definitely hoping that I can even connect and plug you in with some people on my end. But to everybody out there listening, thank you always for the support. Thank you always for what you continue to do, the love you continue to show. We wouldn't be where we are today without y'all. So this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.